Good morning, I'm Doug McKinlay for Adorama TV, and welcome to the third and final of our Great American Road Trip series. We're just outside Denver, Colorado, heading west. We're going to cover Colorado, Utah, Nevada, and California, and ending up at Manhattan Beach with our toes in the water.
The Midwest lies behind and below us. This is a road trip that gives you a real sense of what it must have been like for the original settlers.
So we made it. We're at the Colorado National Monument with its great vistas and great canyons. I find these things very difficult to shoot at first. I have to really think about what I'm doing. 24mm lens, some filters, polarizers, some grads, and a tripod to keep it all still. Now, we're not here at the best time of day, but we have no choice because we're pressed for time, so I've got to get something. So in that regards, I've got to find the right location, get the picture, and then leave. Now, at the beginning of this trip of ours, we talked about little things like getting along with your co-workers and tiredness. Well, yesterday wasn't a great day, especially for myself. We've been driving for really long hours. We were going through, was it Capitol Reach National Park?
Yep.
Absolutely stunning scenery. I'm in the back thinking I'm not getting my pictures and I have to throw a wobbly. Now, it's not the greatest thing in the world to do, but it was just sort of starting to really play in my head that I wasn't getting the images for the magazine, for the story. And Ian had to have a word. What was that like?
Well, it was quite scary because you're a big bloke. But I would say it's been a very long day. We've been driving for perhaps 10 hours. We had a meeting to go to, so that there was an imperative on the time. And also, to be very fair to you, the scenery was mind-blowing. I mean, I'm just a snapper, and I was itching to get my camera out every 10 seconds. You're a professional, so I can see why you're getting more and more uptight.
Now, this job is, you can probably hear it in our voices. We've been operating on, I think now, for about 20, 25 hours, the most hours sleep in the last 5 days. And it's going to just continue, but hopefully in the next 2 or 3 days, we'll be dipping our toes into the Pacific Ocean and relaxing.
Yeah, and I think you see views like this and you think it's worth it. You're going to have the odd temperamental outburst, there's going to be conflict, but as we said at the beginning, we're reading from the same page of the book, we're keeping on communicating, and you're a cantankerous old sod, so I had to have a word, but we sorted it. It's all over.
It's part of the job. So we're moving on and hopefully get some more great pictures.
Day 7. Yesterday we came down off the Colorado Plateau. Today we're in Vegas. You can almost smell the Pacific.
This whole trip has been about covering big distances in as little time as possible, which goes against the grain as a photographer because we need that time to get those great pictures. So my challenge has been to get those magazine quality images grabbed between those long drives, and it's been tough, I have to say. Now, the final proof in the pudding will be when I submit the pictures to the magazine, and hopefully the editor thinks I've met the challenge. If not, they'll get pictures from outside, an agency for instance, which is always a bit of a blow to the ego. So I'm hoping I've got them, and I'll find out probably in the next few days after I get back to London whether or not the guys on the desk think I've met their needs. So me and the guys are in Joshua Tree National Park in California. Yesterday we made our way down through Zion National Park and across the Mojave Desert. Incredibly hot. Now we've been pushing really hard to try and get this stuff done, and today's the penultimate day. Tomorrow we go back to London.
After 3,800 miles, we've reached Palm Springs and we've just waved goodbye to our trusty Dodge SUV. For the final push into Los Angeles and the Pacific, we've got, what else but a red Mustang convertible. It's 103 degrees. So we've slathered on the factor 50. We're ready to go.
Now we're at Salvation Mountain next to the Salton Sea. It's a pretty cool, funky folk art kind of place. But in terms of pictures, it's fairly straightforward. I'm still using a 24mm lens mostly, maybe a little longer lens as well. But what I'm more concerned about is the heat. It's 109 degrees right now. And I'm really concerned about what that heat's doing to my sensor and my lenses. I'm thinking it might warp the lenses a little bit. So I'm shooting quick and I'm putting them away and I'm getting back in the car where there's actually air conditioning. So it's our last run out to LA and I want to get going now. So I'm going to take off. So we finally made it. Across the continent of the United States, more than 4,000 miles, 14 states. That's 4 more than I originally said. We picked up 4. I don't know how we did it, but we did. So, tired? Done?
Very tired. Yesterday ended with a long drive into LA, very busy, 80-mile-an-hour traffic. Kind of a shattering finale to the trip. Yeah.
So, highlights. Give me some highlights.
Well, funnily enough, that drive, sort of frightening, but also a highlight. We had California Dreaming playing on the stereo, the soft top down, the sun setting through the LA palm trees. Pretty magnificent, and that was a great finish. Highlights otherwise, not necessarily the expected ones. I mean, Western America, incredible, the landscapes, etc.
You can't beat those buttes and mesas. They're just absolutely astounding.
Yeah, really, with nothing like that in Europe. The scale is massive. But I also think the smaller things, the Americana in the early part of the trip. I love the truck stop with the preacher. I just love the truck stop, the world's biggest truck stop. Everything there, the pet wash, the super trucks, everything. That was just fascinating.
So I know we had a certain commission to meet. I hope we got the right stuff for it, but did you find anything else along the way?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I did. I picked up an absolute gem. Not the last night, the night before, we stayed in a place called Pioneer Town. Old Hollywood movie set for Roy Rogers, cowboy movies, Cisco Kid and what was it, Gunsmoke. But there, as well as they've turned some of the buildings into a motel, but as well as that, there was a little bar on the corner where sort of world famous musicians played. Paul McCartney, Robert Plant, Lord. I mean, that's great, in the middle of nowhere. That's the sort of story that editors love, and I know we can sell, and you've got pictures to back it up.
Exactly, and that's the whole thing when we do these gigs, is that we not only try to fulfill the commission, but we need to try and find other things to write about, take pictures of, because after all, we are freelance, and the more stuff we get, the more money we make.
Yeah, the bottom line, it's about the money.
Exactly. So this is the end of the trip. It's the final installment in our Great American Road Trip series. I just want to say thanks to all you people for watching this chaotic trip across the US. And would I do it again? Probably not, unless of course the commission was great.